You know exactly what you are capable of, and it's slowly destroying you. Every morning you wake up with this crushing awareness that you could be so much more than where you are right now. You see exactly what's possible for your life, but you feel completely powerless to get there. And here's the thing nobody talks about, is that sometimes knowing your potential is worse than not knowing it at all. If this is you right now, this video is going to explain exactly why awareness without action becomes a prison, and more importantly, how to break free. Picture this. You're scrolling through Instagram and you come across a guy who is the same age as you with an incredible physique, the time and financial freedom to travel the world, to do whatever he wants. He's living his dream life. He owns an incredible business that is fulfilling, that provides the exact lifestyle that you desire and dream of. You've been seeing this content pop up here and there, and you've been thinking about doing the same thing for months. Starting a business, getting into the gym, getting your diet on point, pursuing this dream life of yours. And you're watching his content thinking, dude, I can do the exact same thing as this guy. I know my capabilities, I know my potential. I have interests in the same areas. I might actually know more than he does about some things. But then reality hits. He's actually out there doing it, building it, living it. And you're here, still thinking about it, still planning it, and still preparing for it. That moment when you realize he's not necessarily smarter than you, not really more talented than you, and not more capable than you. He just started. And that realization cuts way deeper than failure ever could. Listen, there's this weird thing that happens when you're self-aware enough to know your potential, but you're not taking any action on it. It creates this constant low-level torture that most people never even talk about. See, when you don't know what you're actually capable of, ignorance is bliss. You literally go through life not knowing what you're missing out on. But when you do know, when you can see exactly what you could become, what you're capable of, what you could build, the life that you could be living, that awareness now becomes a burden. And every day that you're not pursuing that, it feels like you're betraying yourself. Every day that passes, you feel the weight of wasted potential getting heavier and heavier. You start having thoughts like, I'm running out of time. Everyone else is passing me by. It feels like I'm being left behind. Maybe I'm just a dreamer who will never actually do anything. What if I never actually step into who I am supposed to be? And here's the brutal irony, is that the more potential you have, the more it hurts. High achievers, visionaries, guys who can see what's possible, they are the ones who suffer from this the most. I remember periods of time after I started my self-improvement journey where I started to see my potential, where I could see my capabilities opening up before my eyes, yet I would not take action on it. There would be some days where I'd wake up. I had been waking up at 5 a.m. every day and pushing to my absolute limit in the gym, building my YouTube channel, learning, growing, all of these kind of things, and then I would wake up one day and feel tired, hit the snooze button, sleep in till I possibly couldn't anymore. I'd go to school depressed, feeling like I just wasted my whole morning, like I wasted my potential. I'd get home, and now because I haven't been disciplined at all, why start now? So I'd give into temptation that I wouldn't want to be giving into. I would waste time scrolling and watching pointless YouTube videos until I'm laying in bed again at night, feeling like I betrayed myself, like I knew who I could have been throughout that whole day, but I actively decided not to. These kind of days after I started to see my potential were infinitely worse than the days where I did the same thing, but I didn't know my potential, where I was ignorant to who I could be, where at this point it didn't matter. But now it does. Now I'm actively knowing who I could be, the things that I could be working towards, the things that I could be achieving, yet deciding to give into short-term pleasure, reject that future reality where I want to be, where I allowed the weight of my potential to be my downfall, that knowledge of who I could be, to be the poison that would fuel negative thoughts, negative self-talk, further reinforcing the idea that maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I'm truly not willing to do what it takes. Maybe I never will achieve my dreams. You know, these were some of the lowest points I've ever had in my life, even after starting my self-improvement journey, where I started to begin to taste my mission of being this inspiration and calling and motivating other young men to become the best versions of themselves. It was points after this where I knew I actively rejected that mission and that version of myself in the name of comfort. Again, not because I was ignorant to my potential, but because I knew my potential, yet rejected it. But these were also the turning points in my life. Here's what I've learned about why this happens. There are actually 3 traps that keep you stuck in awareness without action. Number 1 is the preparation prison. Unfortunately, the education system enslaves us to this trap of convincing ourselves that we just need to learn more. We just need to prepare more. We need to be perfect in knowledge before we can take action and start. But here's the truth. Preparation becomes procrastination if it goes on for too long. At this point, you're not preparing anymore, you're hiding. Trap 2, the permission problem. You're waiting for someone to give you permission so that you can step into your potential. Your parents, your friends, society. But here's the truth. God has already given you permission to create, to build, to take dominion, to conquer, to step into what He's calling you to be. Even if you don't have clarity on exactly what God is calling you to do in this time in your life, He's already given you permission to pursue that and to learn and to grow and to become a better version of yourself. And then after God's permission, which automatically we should already hold to the greatest standard, is then your permission. Why? Because no one else has full context of your life except God and you. So why do you need others to validate you? Why do you need others to give you permission to act on what God is calling you to do? Or the dreams and the desires that God has put in your heart? So obey Him. Give yourself permission to pursue something great, something excellent, and get after it. And the third trap is the perfection paralysis. You have this amazing vision in your head of what it's going to be like once you step into your calling. So you're terrified of starting because what if it's not perfect? You are simply holding yourself to this perfect standard that deep down you know is impossible. So you convince yourself not to act because you're afraid of failure. You're afraid of it not being perfect. You're afraid of looking like a fool. You're afraid of what others might think of you. But here's what changed everything for me. I came across this verse that's Ecclesiastes 11:4. It says, "Whoever watches the wind will not plant. Whoever looks at the clouds will not reap." You can wait for perfect conditions forever. You can analyze and prepare until you die. Or you can simply plant the seed and trust God with the harvest. And here's the deeper truth is that God often only reveals the path as you begin to walk it. It's not that He doesn't want to show you the way. It's that faith requires movement. Faith without works is dead. Simply put, you do the rowing and God does the steering. But the boat isn't going to go anywhere if you don't row. So here's the mindset shift that changed everything for me, and I promise it will do the same for you. Stop trying to bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Instead, start building the bridge between who you are and who you're becoming. So you're focused on the external gap, the business you want to start, the physique you want to build, the life you want to create for yourself. But God is focused on the internal gap, the character you need to develop to steward everything that He wants to give you. So the torture of unfulfilled potential, that's not punishment, that's preparation. The tension that you feel is actually God stretching you, preparing you to carry the weight of your calling. Think about it like this. David knew that he was anointed to be king when he was just a teenager. But he didn't actually become king until he was 30. That's over a decade of knowing his calling, but living in caves, running from Saul, and being an outlaw. But those years in the wilderness were not wasted years. Those were the years that forged David into a king worthy of the throne. If he had become king at 16, it probably would have been a disaster. Your wilderness season isn't delaying your calling. It's actually developing your calling. So instead of asking, when will I get there? Start asking, who am I becoming on the way? So here's exactly what you can be doing this week to start converting awareness into action. Number 1 is name your prison. Write down the specific ways that you're staying stuck. Are you in preparation prison? Are you having permission problems? Or are you in perfection paralysis? Call out the limitations that you're putting on yourself, because you can't escape what you won't acknowledge. Number 2, take one imperfect action. Choose the smallest possible step that you can take towards your vision this week. Not the perfect step, not the biggest step, the smallest step. If you want to start a business, make one post on social media. If you want to be a leader, lead one conversation. If you want to create one terrible thing and post it anyways. Number 3, commit to the process, not the outcome. Stop obsessing over the result and start obsessing over becoming the type of person who takes action consistently. Number 4, find your wilderness community. You need other people to understand this journey. Find guys who are also in the same gap between knowing and becoming. Maybe it's through your church. Maybe it's through a small group. Maybe it's through your friends, your family. Maybe you have to find them online. But do whatever you can to find this kind of community, because iron sharpens iron. Listen, that potential that you feel inside of you, it's not there to torture you. It's there to call you forward. But potential without action is just a beautiful tragedy. And I refuse to let you become another statistic of wasted greatness. So here's my challenge. Before this week is over, take one imperfect action towards your vision. Not perfect, not big, just real. Because here's what I've learned. God doesn't call the equipped. He equips the called. But you have to be willing to be called into the unknown. Your potential isn't your enemy, your inaction is. The question is, are you going to stay in the torture of awareness? Or are you going to step into the adventure of becoming? Stop knowing what you are capable of and start becoming who you are called to be. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down below what you thought of this video, if it was inspiring or helpful at all. Make sure you subscribe if you want to continue on this journey with me of discovering exactly what it means to be a righteous, pure, trustworthy, excellent man of God. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless.